Hi.
Hi,
How are you, Jite? After I just saw you a few moments ago.
I'm doing well, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really well, except I have poison ivy on my arms today.
Oh, so sorry for
That
that.
poison, do you have poison ivy in Senegal?
Yes, so yeah, sometimes it's.
Yeah. We have poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac, I think, where I am in West Virginia. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are having a really important conversation today on migration in the forest garden and how it can help prevent migration in the first place. And specifically today, what we're talking about is migrants returning home and finding the forest garden as a really powerful, promising solution to returning home and thriving on that land. And if you just hopped in, I was telling GTA about my poison ivy. So please tell us where you're joining from. If you have poison ivy in your garden or something else that can be a bit of a hassle, and maybe GTA will have a good forest garden solution for you too. GTA, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself while we wait for everybody else to join us, and then we'll get started.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sheriff Jite. I am the Senegal Country Director for Tree for the Future.
Great. And GTA, tell everybody a little bit about what you do in Senegal and in West Africa.
So, yeah, Tree for the Future is the NGO created in 1989. Our main goal is to combat hunger and poverty around the world. We are helping farmers, mostly the vulnerable farmers, to change their life, changing life by planting trees throughout our approach, what we call forest garden approach.
Fantastic. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you, GTA, for being here today to have this really important conversation with me on migration and how the forest garden plays a really important role in preventing it, as well as in preventing forced migration, as well as helping migrants who are returning home have a real opportunity to thrive on their land. So, as many of you know, yesterday was World Refugee Day, and before we get into the topic of migration and the forest garden approach, we do really want to make clear that there is a distinction between refugees and migrants. And today we're going to talk a little bit about both, but we are going to talk more about migrants, and those are different classes of populations when we talk about migrants and refugees. So a refugee is an individual who has to leave their home for safety purposes, whether they're being persecuted, discriminated against, if they're facing violence at home. So there are about 79.5 million refugees around the world. And sadly, we see families have to flee their homes for safety. And then in addition to the refugee population, we also see a growing migrant population. There are about 200 million migrants worldwide, and migrants are slightly different from that refugee status in that they leave home in search of work or opportunity. This is still a forced migration. This is still forced migration, but we did want to clarify the two different types of migration, being refugees and migrants, in this conversation. And GT, what we really want to chat with you about today is how the forest garden approach provides opportunity for individuals around the world, and specifically in our programs and where you work in Senegal, and how we're helping migrants who have had to leave Senegal in the past for opportunity, in partnership with the UN, return home and find opportunity in the forest garden approach. So some really exciting things to discuss, some really important sustainable solutions that we want to get into. And so let's jump in. Jite, tell us in Senegal specifically, why do families or maybe one family member choose to leave their home in search of opportunity? What goes into that decision, and why do they ultimately have to make that decision?
Yeah, thank you so much, Lindsay. That is a very, very interesting topics, and is a topic that I think all the government around the world or in West Africa are combating, try to find solution of that for the migration. In Senegal, mainly people are leaving to find more income, to find more money, to come back to increase, to improve their livelihood. It's mainly why people are leaving their country and go to find more money and more income to increase livelihood. However, is there's a lot of risk around that or behind that. So the risk is I can not tell some of the risk is, but the main risk is some people even can lose their life. That is the biggest one. So yeah, they go and with all the risks try to cross the sea to go to Europe and try to find job and send money back home. This is the mainly why they are going. But along the road, there's so many barriers, so many risks. So yeah.
When you meet farmers in our program, what do you hear from people who have had to consider that choice to leave home, to go and find income and an opportunity to make a living and support their family?
So what I hear, men, usually from our farmers, from our participants, to those people who leave their home to go and try to find a better life elsewhere, they used to say, okay, those people didn't know that they leave what the land that they leave behind them is a gold, so they can stay, use the land, grow, and get more than what they are going to find elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For those of you just joining us, I saw we just got a few more people hopping on. Thank you for joining us for this conversation on migration and the forest garden approach and helping migrants return home and find opportunity on their land. I'm Lindsay. I'm on the marketing team here in DC. This is Jite. He is in Senegal. He's our country director. And, Jite, as we talk about people having to make this decision to leave home and not knowing that their land is gold, that gets us into the forest garden approach and really what we do at Trees for the Future in teaching farmers, teaching farming families how to use their land sustainably through regenerative agriculture practices and what we call the forest garden approach. Can you tell us a little bit about the forest garden approach and just all the different opportunities it provides for a farming family in the way of income and nutrition and whatnot?
Yeah, thank you so much, Lindsay. So Tree for the Future initiated this approach, like what we call forest garden approach, to to change the life of people, to change also the environment of people, to fight against climate change, and improve the livelihood. So because we know that we think that with only 1 acre or 1 hectare of land, with if you better use this piece of land, you can be able to feed your family first. You can able to feed your family. You can able to gain money. You can be able to be healthy. Our forest garden approach, people who join us, our participants we are working with today, most of them they just was telling us you should come early than now, because they found that the way that they are growing, the way that they are doing the agriculture, this monoculture that they are doing in the past, this monoculture, because of the monoculture, the soil become more and more degraded, more and more power. They cut down trees, slash and burn. So doing only this one culture, and they are not getting a lot of money. Here in Senegal, our rainy season is very short. So people are just relying on rainy season. And after rainy season, they are doing nothing. But with forest garden approach, so during rainy season, you can work, but also you can continue to work during dry season. You can do gardening, you can plant fruit trees, you can plant other trees, you can gain a lot of money. I have seen farmers really very happy with this program.
And when you look into, when you consider what farmers were facing before the forest garden approach, as you said, you know, a lot of farmers leave home because they're having such a hard time producing what they need on their crop, on their land, because of monocrop practices, because their land's becoming degraded. And so we see farmers having no choice but to leave home, right? If there's no money to be made, no food to be grown on their property, they have to leave. And like you said, it's such a dangerous undertaking, and we hate to see it. People, farmers that we work with, you know, are sad to leave. They want to stay home. They want to be with their family. I think we'll talk about Mamadou here in a little bit, but a farmer story where he says, I don't want to leave my children. I have to make a living, to support them. So let's talk about how the forest garden approach, when applied to our partnership with IOM and Returning Migrants, has really changed the lives of some returning migrants in Senegal. So Jite, tell us a little bit about what our partnership is with the United Nations Office of International Migration. For those of you who don't know, we started partnering with them in 2019 in an effort to offer returning migrants the opportunity that they needed to return home. Jite, tell us a little bit about the program and what it entails.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. So as we are talking about migrant today, I can better explain this partnership we had with OIM or IOM, International Organization of Migration, l'Organisation Internationale pour la Migration. So we had this partnership in 2019. I know OIM was trying a lot of strategies to try to fix those returned back in Senegal, to try to fix them first here and try to discourage others to go. You know, this is the main objective of OIM, to fix those who come back, but try to discourage others, to tell others, okay, please, you can stay here and gain your life and have better life in your country. So when they contacted Tree for the Future and we started to have this partnership, they already identify around 15 to 20 migrants who come back who return back in Senegal, in the region of Kolda. So when they contact us, we have this partnership, we have an MOU. Our main role at Tree for the Future is to try to train those farmers, to train those young people who came back in their country with nothing. They come back with nothing, I can tell you. So they was very discouraged, because when they leave their country, when they were leaving their country, they think that they can come with a lot of money, change their life. But after coming back, they think that, okay, we are coming back, we need to find something to do. And OIM contact us, and we propose them our approach, our forest garden approach. So we work with the local authorities to deliver 2 hectares of land for those people. And the 2 hectares, because the first thing, you have to have land for Tree for the Future. If you have land, if you are able to work, for water, we put the water, if they have land, we train them. We'll train them, because we can do nothing without training. So we train those people, and our main strength is most of our trainers are local. So they have the language, they can speak the language, they know those people, they know the culture. So we train them, we train those 20 people, and they started to install the forest garden. And after less than 2 years, if you go to this garden, everything changed. Everything changed there, and those migrants are gaining now money. I can tell you the story of some of them who tell us, okay, so if you were here before, maybe I will not spend 2 years or more than 2 years very far from my family, in a country where I know nothing, nobody there, and I very suffer there. Now, if you come before, I will not do all those. I can stay and do this because they believe that forest garden is something that they can gain. They can gain their money. They can gain money. They can change their life.
Mm-hmm. Well, and hi everybody. I see everyone saying hello. Hi Mohammed, joining us from Cameroon. We have Pam on. We have Papa. Really very interesting using green walls to prevent migration. And so I'm really excited to see people chatting. Please drop your comments in here, questions in the comments for us. Jite would be the perfect person to answer those questions for you. Jite, when you mentioned the 2-hectare forest garden plot for this group of migrants, and it's about 25 migrants in the program currently enrolled, correct? So Jite was saying that, local staff, Trees for the Future staff, are training this group of farmers who have returned home to Col de Senegal after migrating away in search of opportunity. They've come home for this opportunity provided through IOM and through Trees for the Future. Jite, what are some of the things that they're learning on this 2-hectare plot, on this 2-hectare forest garden? What are some of the techniques that they're learning that are improving their land?
Thank you so much, Lindsay. First of all, we sensitize them about the forest, the degradation of the forest, to let them know that cutting trees and not planting nothing is not the way. It's not a good way to save the environment. So, and we sensitize them. They know that. So it's not good to cut trees because in the past they do have a lot of conflict with the local service or the forest service who was there. Because if you cut trees, you don't have any paper. You may be in trouble. You may pay fees, or you may go into jail. So we sensitize them that first, and we also train them how to fence your land without using money. With only trees, you can fence your land, and nothing can get inside to destroy whatever you are doing inside, whatever you planted inside. We train them also how to propagate trees, how to better propagate trees with the very new technologies, something like that, agroforestry technologies. We train them with those best gardening techniques. With a very small piece of land, the technique that you are using, you can grow vegetable there, you can gain a lot of money. So we train them also how to design the forest garden, how to better maintain the trees. After planting the trees, you should maintain the trees for these trees to become a good trees, and you can gain a lot of fruit or something like that on that trees. So we train them all of that. So, and they divide the land, I'll tell you 20 farmers, so they divide the land, the 2 hectares, and each of them are keeping his own plot, working there, producing there. We provide them also all the materials. I was missing that. Tree for the Future provide them materials like tree seeds, tree sacks, vegetable seeds, and all these are following back training.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I thought something very interesting about this program was that, the local government was involved as well in making this happen and bringing people home. And so for those of you just joining us, the migrants that Trees for the Future is training on the forest garden approach returned home to their homes, but the local government officials leased 2-hectare section of land for their shared forest garden. So, and Jite, it's a 100-year permit, correct? So these farmers will
be
to farm for quite some time, which is a little different than our typical program. In our standard program, farmers are farming on their own land, but this being a vulnerable population returning home, it was set up this way to ensure their ultimate success, given the multitude of barriers. And so Jite was saying, we're teaching them how to plant trees, how to propagate, how to grow fruits and vegetables. So when you look at the forest garden approach for this group of returning migrants and farmers across sub-Saharan Africa, Trees for the Future sees an average increase in income of about 400%. We see nutrition increase by more than 500%. And so these young families who just a few years ago had left home in search of something else are now at home and thriving because of the forest garden approach, which is absolutely incredible and something that each of you tuning into today are making possible through your donations to Trees for the Future. And it's not even just this program with IOM or OIM, depending on our English or French speakers, but it's also that the forest garden approach can prevent migration in the first place. Jite, can you tell us a little bit about the stories that you hear? I really wanted to talk about Mamadou and maybe some other farmers who have considered leaving, and then Trees for the Future provided the training, and they stayed, and they learned how to use the forest garden approach on their land and no longer had a reason to leave.
Thank you so much, Linda, for this question. We got a lot of success stories from our participants. Even just after 6 months after joining our program, some of them also, even after 6 months, come to us to say, yeah, I just started to change my life. We just started to change my life because after 6 months doing gardening, everything, I now am food secure because everything that they are eating, it come from the garden. So the vegetable, all the vegetable coming from the garden. But there is not only, those vegetables is not only for eating, but they can also sell it because they are producing a lot, and they can sell it and sell it to the market. They can be able, like Mamadou is now being able to send his kid at school. Kids are not dropping school early because of lack of money, because it's very difficult sometimes if you don't have money to send your kid to school. But also the other part is healthy. People become very, very, very healthy because the vegetable that they get from the garden and eat them, it can increase their health, but also they gain money. If someone is sick, they can be able to go to the doctor and have medicine to be and become healthy. So we do have a lot of example like Mamadou, who now saying that okay, he is very, very, very happy. He become food secure. Even her wife was telling us to that they become food secure. Even the kids was telling that okay, now we can go to school after eating. So it's not easy to study when you are very hungry. So those people, kids, sometimes they go to school without breakfast. Early morning they can go to school without taking their breakfast because their parents don't have enough means to give them that. But now with the forest garden, those participants, their kids also already tell that now we are okay. We can go to school after having our breakfast. We can and coming back home in the afternoon after break. We are sure that when we come back home, we can find lunch. And at the evening also we can have dinner. And all this they are getting that because of this forest garden approach, because their dad is one of our participants who is working hard and gain all this and change the life of his family.
And it's when we talk about Trees for the Future and our forest garden approach, sometimes what gets the focus is we're planting trees and that's Trees for the Future. But when you dig into all of these different impacts and the fact that something as simple as sustainable agriculture has the power to decrease migration, to help people stay home, to help people have opportunity on their own land, and then, as you were saying, to be able to feed their kids, the nutritious meals they need and get them to school. We just dropped the link to Mamadou's story in the comments. I hope all of you go and read it. Maimouna, our Senegal liaison, wrote that story a few months ago, and it's really, really telling of the success that farmers have in this program. Mamadou, you'll see, had been considering leaving home after his next harvest. He was going to harvest his last crop, and then he was going to consider migrating to Europe in search of opportunity. And after beginning his forest garden training and learning how to establish his forest garden from local trees for the future staff, as Jite said, he saw a lot of success and sat tight, is thriving at home and is happy and with his family. Jite, and we did jump ahead a little bit to the improvements, but there are so many measured improvements that forest garden farmers go through, whether they're returning migrants or folks who are considering leaving and sit tight. What long-term changes occur for families in the forest garden approach?
Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. I just would told that to circle all that around the trees. So as our NGO's name is Tree for the Future, I would say trees, no one can evaluate, no one can put value on the trees. Trees have so many values. The guy who plants trees, this migrant who is planting trees, maybe they know that they are planting trees for food or for fruit. They are planting trees to fence their garden, and they are planting trees maybe to improve the soil fertility. But they never measure that these birds who come and rest on those trees, they will never measure that value. Never. They cannot know that. So I think I would say the long term for the long term benefits for this migrant is they can first stay. This land was given by the local authority, but I know they all have their own land, and they will continue to propagate what they're learning with Tree for the Future. They continue to propagate that in their other land. Inside the village itself, some people now are not migrants, but they are joining this group. So and started to work with them. Everyone in the village, so they can say, okay, this is the good way for us to stay, to work here in our country, in our village, and gain money, and also to stay with our family. Because it's not easy sometimes to work, to be far from your family. It's kind of sometimes difficult. With this approach, so the long term they can stay, they can propagate, they can duplicate this model, and they can also train other farmers. So this year we also train other migrants in other area of Senegal, and we'll continue to do that. And our aim is to make sure that those adults who to let them know that so staying here at home, growing vegetable, planting trees in their own land is better than living and go for the uncertain future. It's not certain.
Absolutely. And DJ, I think we have a few questions, so I could talk to you forever, but let's take, I think we have 2 questions from our viewers today. So we'll pull those up. One viewer asks, what's the level of demand versus supply for the forest garden approach? Where is the bottleneck? So Jite, I think you started touching on this a little bit with propagation and seed supply, but where's the level of demand and supply for the forest garden approach in our programs in Senegal?
I would say my aim is to cover all Senegal, and right now we have so many demands, so many people who want to join this program. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you have someone who is there, or someone talk to you, or you come to visit, because we also organize what we call open field day for people to come to visit, even the local authorities, and everyone would like all the authorities would like Tree for the Future to come to the area, because Senegal, we need that in Senegal, from the north to the south. Today I was listening to for the news. Even our very forest dark area in Kolda, people are cutting trees there. People are cutting trees. They are destroying sometimes the environment. We need this program there. We need this program there, and people need this program there to change their life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. And
everywhere in Senegal, we want to go there.
and like you're saying, there's a lot of support locally from different local officials and leadership.
Yes.
As I hope many of you know who are watching, we are staffed in country. So yes, we are
Yes.
headquartered in the U.S., but we have offices in each of our program countries, and so the trainers of each farmer are local, and so they speak the language, they know the culture, and so that really allows us to scale and keep up with the farmers and what they need and what would really help the program grow. And then I'll speak from the fundraising team's perspective. With any nonprofit, a bottleneck is also always possible when we are looking for that support from our donors. And so the more support we have from the public, from individuals, from business partners, from different grant opportunities, the more we can do. So definitely take that away from this panel conversation today. Donations are really key in being able to reach more farmers throughout Senegal, across sub-Saharan Africa, and globally through our Forest Garden Training Center. I think we're going to wrap up here soon, but I think we have one more question, Jite. So let's see what we have from Pam. Pam asks, "What's the biggest challenge when training?"
Okay. Thank you so much, Pam. This is a good question. So training. I would say developing capacities or transferring knowledge. So in every way, the biggest challenge will be sometimes the barrier can be language. Okay, so the trainers should be the one who know the language to transfer easily the knowledge to the audiences. That is very, very, very important. So for Tree for the Future, our main strength, as I said, most of our trainers are local, so they know the language, they know the culture. So that's challenge for language barrier is not something that we have. But I would tell you, training, the biggest challenge for training is communication. So language is a kind of one of the biggest challenge. If you don't have the language, go for it.
Well, because although staff are local, there are some areas where we work where there are just multiple languages, right?
Yes. They are using multiple language, and they can easily get out the word, and people can better understand. So other thing for the training is also the materials. Other challenge is for the materials. You need to have a very good how do you call training materials. It's a very good curriculum if you want to do training. And this is also one of the strengths for Tree for the Future. We have a training component. So we have a training manuals. So those training manuals also we can translate that into local language. People can have easily access to that. They can easily understand what we are talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes. Training is a challenge in and of itself, but the breadth of knowledge that Trees for the Future has, I think, really sets us apart with Forest Garden Training Center, the technical manual, everything that is provided to farmers and training staff to make sure that farmers are getting the knowledge they need to be able to implement the forest garden approach on their own land. I think we do have one more question that just came in near the tail end. Yes. Myla, I believe. How can we inform immigrants, apart from a donation to Trees for the Future, how can we inform about this outstanding project? Jite, what would you say?
I think we have so many channels to inform donors for this Tree for the Future. I would like people to go to our website also. They can find that. So I think, Lindsay, you can also give a good answer for that because you are working on
Well,
this.
I didn't want to steal the question. I wanted you to take a shot. No, I agree with what Jite said. Mila and anyone else watching, if you have a group of people, a partnership, any affiliates that you think would benefit from Trees for the Future's training program, whether that be returning migrants or any other population of people who would benefit from the forest garden approach, please get in touch with us. You can send an email directly to us at info@trees.org if you're not sure which department your question should be directed to. And I think Elizabeth, our training center director, is watching today too. And you can get in touch with her team at training@trees.org. We'll drop a couple of contact emails for you all in the comments to let you know how to get in touch. But we're always open to building new partnerships. We literally have hundreds of partnerships, whether that's through brand partnerships to help fund us or through collaborative partnerships with organizations or NGOs, whether that's, IOM or another organization and like-minded group. So please be in touch. Let us know if you have any questions. Yep, Elizabeth said, yes, I am. We'd be happy to hear from you. So please get in touch with us if you think you have somebody who would benefit from this. And as always, hop on our training site as well. Our website is trees.org and our training site is training.trees.org. GTA, I think that about does it. I really appreciated this conversation. World Refugee Day yesterday. I'm glad that we were able to honor that day in some small way and really acknowledge the millions of people who are no longer at their homes because they had to leave. And I'm really honored to be part of an organization like Trees for the Future and working with people like you, Jite, who are able to help people come back home and find opportunity. And all of you watching today are a huge part of that as well. So consider making a donation to Trees for the Future in honor of World Refugee Day and in support of programs like our program with IOM, which are making such important, long-lasting, sustainable change for farmers and the planet. Jite, do you want to add anything else before we hop off?
Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. I just want to thank people who are with us today and also to just send a message to let people know that, yes, I think we cannot develop our country without staying here and working, because what we have here, I would consider that as a gold. So, and home, we cannot compare home to other place. Home is home. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So those migrants, I would tell them home is home. Yeah.
Good. Well, we thank you so much for being on today, and we're so honored to have you and be doing this important work together. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
We'll share this recording as always, and this is our last panel for June, but we'll see you soon in July. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.